All right. Now you've also had John working with you as well, so she's got a double anchor now. So she's doubled her anchor. So you want to just check, make sure that's working? See how it works? Yeah. What do you get when you press that?
I feel lovely.
You feel lovely?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. Good. All right. Let's see. So one thing I just noticed there was it wasn't kind of as high as it was before. So it might have slipped a little bit or something or whatever. So I'm just going to remind you about a couple of things that we talked about, which was it's that moment when you just walk or run into the sea and you're there. And it's like you belong there. You get enveloped in it. It's part of who you are. The skin is feeling silky. The sea is silk on the skin. And you're there so much. You're integrated so much into the environment. The birds will come and reflect that by singing and dancing all around you, being one with them. Yeah, and then in your head, there's this immense gratitude for that freedom of being and moved by the joy to be alive. And then you had that, with your daughter, that silly dancing. The silly dancing and that real heartfelt connection. And you did silly dancing with the bum silly dancing as well. Yeah. But it's really that heartfelt connection that's happening. Brilliant. Okay, good. Fantastic. Right, so have you got an area of your life that's contextual that you'd like to, there's a trigger point that you'd like to collapse? So it's something in your life that happens in a context, not all the time, but when something happens you feel unresourceful and there's a trigger for it. You got something like that?
I think so. Right. I deliver lots of lectures to students, no problem. But if I had to deliver conference lectures to adults, I fall apart.
Okay.
I'll do anything to avoid doing it.
Okay, good, perfect. Thank you for that. So at what point do you fall apart?
As it gets closer to the time, closer, my mouth starts going really dry, I start feeling shaky.
So is that actually when you're close to the event or in the event?
I'm sort of in the room and I know I've got to go and speak next.
Perfect.
But even the previous days, it's starting to get into my head.
Is it?
Starting, yeah.
Right.
But it gets, the closer I get to the event, the more the physical symptoms grow.
Yeah, okay. So now we've got to decide, haven't we, about the trigger point. So now we've got to decide, is the trigger point like the day before, when there's something starting to happen? Is she already on the slide then? Or do we collapse the anchor as she's actually in the room? Now intuitively, I'm thinking when she's actually in the room, intuitively, and she's nodding. So her unconscious mind also says the same thing, so let's do that. Because probably the bits before are very manageable.
Yes, manageable,
when you're feeling just a little bit.
Yeah, and I just say you'll be fine.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
But it's then when I've got about to do it.
Right, so let's have a look. So you've walked in the room, it's the day of the giving the, what do you call it, a talk or a
conference, presentation.
Presentation, brilliant.
Yeah.
So you walked in the room, that's not so bad, there's might be something going on.
Yeah.
So at what point, how many hours or how many people ahead before you really start to fall apart?
When I'm next.
When you're next?
Yeah.
So is it, let's say the person before you's on for half an hour, would it still be half an hour before or just before they finish?
It's, as half an hour goes.
Gets closer to the actual
closer
time.
And closer, yeah.
Right.
And then as I actually stand up to do it, I'm really, really shaky.
Okay. Right. So I can utilise her unconscious mind as well. So when would be the time you think, okay, now I'm just starting to lose it. Just now I'm starting to lose it.
As I stand up to speak.
Okay, that close to it.
That's what
up
I'm
actually... Up to that point.
Because actually I'm not sure I'm going to be able to speak because my mouth's gone so dry.
Right.
And, I think, well, can people see my hands shaking?
Okay. And then you'd be kind of on a seat over there in the aisles and then the person's just finishing.
Yeah, I have to stand in the middle of the room.
And it's almost time for you to stand up?
Yeah.
Okay. So how about if we were fast forward and rewind that movie, just before you're standing up,
yes.
Would you be not completely falling apart there just before you're standing up?
I'd be starting to get quite strong physical symptoms in the sort of moment before I stand up. Yeah, it would have started then.
Okay.
So I'm getting quite hot now.
Right, perfect. So we just take it back a little bit before then, so maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm actually panicking now.
Okay, perfect, good. This is a great test, isn't it? So 5 minutes before we start.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So what I'd like you to do is imagine you're there now, 5 minutes before it starts, and then just hit your anchor. You're there, sitting there in the seat, it's 5 minutes to go, and then just press your anchor like that. And notice what starts to happen.
I just feel calm.
Yeah, keep that pressed. And how's it feeling in the body now?
I just feel more, just nice.
Wow, okay, good. And then just let the anchor go.
That's just weird.
Feel the integration. So you see the two together, two were together for a little while, and then you saw the integration take place, and the positive, the powerful one come out. And now the two are integrated, but the powerful one is the presider.
That's weird, because I was really feeling tearful.
It's perfect, we could see it, yeah. I know, it's such a great example, because it was happening here in your seat, which is perfect. So, let's take it back to the trigger point again without touching anything.
Okay.
So there you are now, you're in the aisles, there's a seat on the side, it's 5 minutes to go before the presentation, and then you know it's time for you to come on and present, and then it's time for you to come and present. The other person stands down and you're going up there, so how's that feeling now? Wow, that's without touching the anchor, so now it's integrated in a neurology. So the trigger is now the anchor, the trigger is now the positive anchor, the two have been successfully linked together, which is exactly what we're doing with the swish pattern, but just in a different kind of way of doing it. Beautiful. Okay, so that's resource anchor, how you can collapse an anchor with a resource anchor. So let's also show you how to do this conversationally. Okay. So there you are. You're sitting in the it's a presentation day, and you've got some complicated stuff that you need to present. Lots of people there, conference, suits, serious-looking business people.
Clever people.
Clever people.
Very clever.
Clever people from clever land.
You might ask me clever, difficult questions I can't answer.
Yeah, there's clever people with the silly ass dance, Yeah, the silly ass dance that you do. Yeah. So you do the silly ass dance, and then it's time you get up, and it's time for you to present. And then you know what? And you're consumed by it. You know, the sea and the silk on the skin, that silky skin as you walk towards the presentation and the plinth. And you know that you're boundless. You just swim. You swim in the arena of presenting, knowing that you're boundless. You're like Superwoman here, because it's so natural in the sea of people. It's so natural how they just fly with you. Noticing that when you're being this authentic you, the birds are just flying with you because you're doing something that's absolutely purposeful. And there's gratitude in your mind that you can give such a great presentation of yourself in the sea of people, swimming around in this beautiful, gliding, natural process that's just happening now. And the silly ass dancers that might be out in the audience just laughing with them because you're silly ass dancing with them, feeling this heartfelt connection and gratitude being amongst such a wonderful sea of people. How's that?
That was awesome.
Beautiful, and it was so beautiful. You could just see that happening on her face, and she gave me such great anchors anyway, so I've got to thanks for her for doing that.